You're still watching Prime Morning. It's time for us to delve into what the newspapers have for us. But before then, our guests are seated and poised. I can see Manasseh writing down all the points. And so I know Richard is in trouble this morning. Or Richard, rather, is doing the research on his phone. So Manasseh is in trouble. Good morning, gentlemen.
A very good morning to you, Rose.
Good morning, Auntie Rose.
You look fantastic this morning. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm
you look
around.
great like always.
Thank you.
Because of the tight shadows and then trying to put things together. Because the NPP, out of 90 minutes, have done almost, they left only 30 minutes for them to be kicked out.
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
To be kicked out.
To be kicked out. It's a 90 minutes football on the pitch. They've done, this level only 30 minutes.
Oh.
Then
says who? Says Richard?
13 months to elections, so 30 minutes. So we need to get prepared. But actually, it's just level them. If I'm not like 6 months for the NPP to deliver, and after 6 months, we are entering election months.
Okay.
So we are energizing the system across the world, not only in the country, across the world. That's why you can see us in the US, you can see us in Toronto, and you can see us all over the world running around, making sure we galvanize the Ghanaians and coming to building the Ghana we want. All of them have to come down to Ghana and make sure the Ghana we want is well built.
Anyway, let me introduce my guests very well. For those of you who don't know them, Manasseh Atabuahin is representing the NPP this morning, and representing the NDC is Richard Manurubi. We have some topics that we'll delve into, but before then,
yes. I mean, I want to mention that now that we are through with our presidential primaries,
talk about it,
of which the NDC today are still in a state of shock. You see, because left to them alone, Honorable Kennedy Japan would just break away. Left to them alone, we wouldn't have a united front to face them. But we've all seen what has happened, and we say a very big congratulations to all of them.
Well, I would like us to touch on it.
Give them
let me do the newspapers.
Sure.
We'll delve a bit into that because
we have to.
There are
really
some, political analysts suggesting certain things to Dr. Bawumia as to whether that will work or not. We'll talk a little bit about that because you haven't gotten the opportunity to talk about it.
Not at all. That's why I had to raise that.
Don't worry.
Myself.
I'll give you a little yourself. Okay. Yes, Richard. We'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. 2024 general election, Battle of the North. Bawumia Mahama on tough turf. It's very tough. I don't know, but this is going to be one of the toughest elections Ghana has ever seen. Business Finder, Get Fund clears 800 million Ghana cedis arrears. Old contractors, an uncompleted project. Dr. Abuedu says so. Insecurity, high fiscal burden, crippling mining sector. And that will be all for the Business Finder newspaper. The New Crusading Guide newspaper is the next newspaper I'm going to read. The New Crusading Guide. Bawumia storms NPP headquarters to engage party executives on strategies for Operation 2024. Minister returns Bawumia's campaign cash after agitations from delegates. Oh, wow. Okay, not bad. But so there was money now and it was returned. Or there was no money. I'm struggling to understand that one. There was money. But the delegate said it was small. It wasn't small.
I'm not too sure
what's going on.
But in every election, of course, money is a key factor in ensuring we are able to mobilize to even go for it.
Okay, now this is the story that I wanted us to talk about, which we'll definitely talk a bit about it. Choose a running mate from Western, Central or Eastern political analyst to Bawumia. Stop parading yourself as head of Manche Ankara family. Court warns Ni Ade. Confusion rocks Ashanti region. NPP over running mate slot as Napo and Educhum supporters clash. Same thing. That's what we'll be talking about, a little bit of that. Now, the Daily Guide newspaper. Rowdy scenes in Parliament over dam spillage. We know that yesterday the Minister for Energy was summoned by Parliament to have a conversation on this whole dam spillage. And it looks like it went a little bit overboard, but that's not what we are talking about. But we are hoping that we'll still get a final or a conclusion on the kind of conversations that happen in Parliament over it. NPP flag bearer thanks Otumfuo over Ashanti win. 7 names pop up for Bawumia running mates. Who will they be? We don't know. 31 new charges for Cecilia Dapa, mate, and 5 others. Come join the butterfly, Alan tells Ghanaians. And of course, I have seen billboards of the butterfly all around. So the butterfly is flying, is flying, is flying. All right, so right here on Prime Morning on Tuesday, we had a conversation with Cecilia Marfo, where Cecilia Marfo wept. People were quoting the Bible, and Cecilia Marfo wept. Well, another thing that she did speak about was who discovered her, which is Esther Smith. And the Ghanaian Daily Guide newspaper has actually captured that story right here, saying that Cecilia Marfo eulogizes Esther Smith right on Prime Morning. It says, speaking on Joy Prime, she disclosed, when things were not going well for me, I was looking for opportunities. Esther Smith met someone by the name Sibis in London, and this is how I got discovered. So you can purchase the newspaper and read that story, but make sure that you always watch us every morning as well, because we do have some quite insightful conversations all the time. The Ghanaian Times newspaper, which happens to be our final newspaper. 513,336 businesses land in trouble for failing to file annual returns renewal for 3 years. EPA pushes for prosecutorial powers to punish environmental offenses. I've always said that gone were the days when there was a tankers. If we can only bring back tankers, it will help. Attacks on journalists worsening, Oppong Nkrumah warns. And as a journalist, yes, even the recent demonstration that happened, what the police did to some journalists, where they have said that they didn't do anything. I saw video of brutalities that happened. Well, police have said that nothing happened. Okay, but I saw it happen to our sister Bridget Otu. The video was clear. Well, so we are hoping that, journalists will be protected when we go on the ground to cover stories. 8 rearrested for allegedly stealing money belonging to Cecilia Dapaah. And that will be all for what the newspapers have for us. Like I said, my guests are seated and poised for the conversation. Before we delve into our topics, one particular story that it looks like almost all the news portals are carrying happens to be the NPP's running mate. But before then, I know Manasseh wants to touch a little bit on the elections. Richard will touch a little bit on it, and we go into this, and then we go into our topics. So Manasseh, yes, I'll give you the opportunity now.
Thank you very much. And a very good morning to our cherished viewers, and a very good morning to you and to Richard. As I mentioned aforetime, we are grateful to the Lord and also to our party for the successful elections we had as it relates to the presidential primaries. And now we have our able candidate, His Excellency the Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And today we are confident that over the period, you see, the aim of the NPP has been to bring forth a candidate who will be able to match the NDC and also who will be able to help us achieve our target of breaking the 8. And when you look at the successes of the Vice President, his personality and what he stands for, what he has been able to achieve even as Vice President, it tells you a lot. When you look at the digitalization drive that he is championing, that is coupled with the economy. It is so great to the extent that without that, we will not be able to make significant gains in the economy. When you look at even the way we've been able to streamline the revenues of ECG and even to update it to a simple platform whereby today, if you want to, access credit, prepaid credit, you do not have to step out of your house. You just have to pick up your phone and buy it with your mobile money. And so it makes it so easy, and that again has increased the revenues of ECG, and it is same for all the other state institutions that do render services to the country. And so we are confident that when you look at what he has done and his integrity again, he has been able to serve the party for far too long. And the commitment, you see, he won this because he earned it. When you look at the commitment and the sacrifice, sometimes when I sit back and I just read through his CV, I am just amazed. And I really want to probe him as to why he decided to even stick to the party, especially when we lost our initial election. It just baffles me. And so it tells you the kind of heart he has for the NPP. Someone who was working at the Bank of Ghana, even working at some international banks and all of that, leaving all this and coming back, wasting time, precious time to even defend the party at the election petition and all. These are so huge. And so I am confident that if he, who is not the number one in this country, has been able to lead in this regard, then when he is giving the nod, it will be so great. And as for the NDC, we've been mentioning this time and over again. that they've been scared of the vice president and they are always calling on him, and they've been impugning a lot of wrong things against him and his personality, because they know that once he has won, they are in trouble. And so it is not surprising that they've begun some skirmishes and even some misinformation and disinformation about him. But the good news is that Ghanaians are discerning. Former President Mahama has been president before, and Ghanaians do not have short memory, as has been said of him. The Ghanaian youth do not have short memory, and they always remember the period when they were crying on the former president to create an enabling environment for them to have jobs to do. And what did the former president do? He only told them that he's not a magician to conjure jobs for them, and so they shouldn't worry him.
So when
he mentioned again
so when we look at these two,
he has a dead goat syndrome. These are the things. Then I ask myself, what single policy did the NDC put in place to ensure that the masses of the youth who were seeking to be employed were able to at least find something substantial to do?
Okay.
Nothing.
All right.
Nothing. We have created over 2 million jobs. When you go to the Youth Employment Agency today, we have employed over 99,500 youth. 99,500 youth. In their various models, we have, those who are working in the community health sector, those who are working in the community police sector, and even in the sanitation. Today, when you look at what we are doing, even with the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2, with the youth in agriculture model, of which we are targeting 200,000 youth, we are even providing them with monthly stipends. Monthly. This is unheard of.
I like the things that you have said. It's a very beautiful, but then you also realize that upon certain portals and researches, we have been told that a certain number have declined or have receded from middle class into poverty. So if all these have been created, then how are people, receding into poverty? How is it that we are not seeing a situation where you see more people? Again, we are seeing, or we are recording more people who are unemployed. So what is happening? Is it that people are growing and are becoming unemployed, or what is it?
So when you look at the statistics from the Ghana Statistical Service and even from the Ghana Population Census as it relates to our population in 2016 and our population currently, you realize that there are huge differences. We've had some more births and of course some few deaths, and so the population in 2016 cannot be compared to that of today.
So
Today's population
that's your defense?
is huge.
Okay.
And again, you realize that over the years we've had a lot of people passing through our tertiary institutions, and so the volumes of graduates who have passed out are quite many. In 2016, the unemployment rate was around 8 or so percent. Today it is 4.7. The NDC deliberately are quoting some 14 point something, which is false. The unemployment rate today is around 4.7%. And it tells you the effort this government has put in place to ensure that beyond the 2 million jobs we have provided, beyond the public sector, of which we came to meet it around 400 public sector workers, today we have around 700 to even 800,000 people who are working in the public sector. So we have added more people onto the public sector wage bill to ensure they are able to have work to do to sustain them in this economy. Okay. We have also ensured that there is an enabling environment through the factories we have created and the factories we are revamping to ensure that more youths are employed. And most importantly, as has always been said, it's important, and it cannot be the case that government will be able to employ the over 200,000 or 400,000 or whatever graduates that churn out every year. And so it is the aim of government to ensure that we are able to sustain the youth by ensuring that we encourage them to go into agric, and that has been the main target. When you even look at our inflation basket, it is surprising that the component of food inflation is so high. And so with this new Youth in Agriculture and Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2, we are confident that as we are beginning to see the signs of inflation trickling down, especially food inflation, we are confident that going into the subsequent months, we'll continue to have some more inflation drawing down.
All right.
And it wouldn't be the case that we'll have a lot of youths that are unemployed.
All right. Richard?
Good morning. Good morning, Manasseh.
Yeah.
Good morning to your shared viewers and listeners. And I want to say good morning to the good people of Nkwanta South constituency.
Is that why you want to become the MP?
We are not there
yet. Are you contesting to be an MP?
I've contested to be an MP. I'm not contesting to be an MP.
You should.
Yes. And then let me say good morning to Senator John Dramani Mahama and Ghanaians as a whole. Rosalind, I thought you were asking of the MPP flag bearership race, and then Manasseh has VS because he doesn't want to touch that area.
I started with that.
He actually started with it.
You have to swear it now. Now I don't know whether President John Dramani Mahama is running mate he was talking about. And telling good things about President John Dramani.
I think he just took the opportunity to campaign for their candidate. That's what I saw.
Let me quickly use this on Medium to
also campaign
to do a news flash to Ghanaians.
This segment is called News Flash.
Yes, so I'm also doing a news flash to your viewers, and that on the 16th of this month, we're going to do a very thorough cleanup exercise at the office of the former president. And I want to urge all the NDC youths to be representing and come around, because it's very important. As NDC is keeping the money for sanitation, we have taken upon ourselves to do a very cleanup. You know, when it gets to the flag bearer of the NPP's resident, I don't know whether you know that throughout the mini roundabout there, through NAFTI, and then to Acha and Acha Law Complex, opposite President John Dramani Mahama's office. And the whole place, the gutters are stinking. There's grasses and all over, every place. So we took it upon ourselves that the youth of the NDC have to come around on the 16th of this month, and we will do a thorough exercise there. But also it's going to be a massive one.
Okay.
It's going to be a massive one, and your media house is invited to come and witness how dirty that area has been. And then when you are coming, I want to urge all the youths.
But if you are doing a cleanup, why should we come and witness how the place has been? Just clean it up if you see the place dirty.
You have a sanitation reporter here, I'm sure. So it's part of media. So
but you are cleaning.
You have a representation on health and sanitation here. Yes. So Rosalind, we have enough catalysis, we have enough rakes, we have enough. We also told that there are reptiles and amphibians around those areas. So we're going to kill a lot of unwanted animals. We're going to do fumigation. So any NDC member that is coming, you come with your rake, you come with your cutlass, very sharpened, of course, because the grass are too hard. And we are told that there will be another. There's a smelling.
Wait. Which part of Ghana, Accra, are you going to?
We have, reptiles.
Which part of Accra?
Do you know Cantonment?
Which part of Cantonment?
That's what I'm using. So see, do you know the U.S. Embassy? Yeah. So when you turn to the U.S. Embassy, going to the Gaming Commission, you turn your right. This is the former Vice President's residence. On your left, there's NAFTI. On that route, opposite is President John Dramani Mahama. And then
where you read it?
But the place is. Have you been there before?
That is not true.
No, Rosa, don't say if you do that.
I used to live at Summer Camp. I know the area very well. There's nowhere there that you're going to go with your brooms. That's the important thing.
So, Rosalind,
what are you using cutlass for?
When we finish the cleanup, we're going to pump fufu at the office there. So any NDC member that is coming can come with your pistols. We have mortars there. You can come with your pistols, and then now we also want to have refreshment and then drink Coke, beer, and malt. But we don't have enough bottles. So when you're going to buy the drinks, you need to use the empty bottles and then exchange for drinks. So if you have any bottle, you can come with it. If you have any empty bottle, you can come with it.
So that you go and use it to buy it?
And
they sell plastic bottles.
No, we don't want plastic ones.
They are going to enjoy their own selves with those bottles. We know them and what they do.
If you are going for any program, if you are not ready to do your program and give them drinks, please don't go with any bottle from your house.
Have you heard that?
If they want to feed you, they will feed you. Don't go with any empty bottle.
Common drinks you cannot provide.
We are told that when you are buying a drink from a drinking spot, you send an empty bottle.
Spots.
You have to send a depots. If you are going to the depot, you send a crate of an empty bottle and take. So you can come with it.
Let's go into our topic, please. Let's go into our topic.
To end with this, when we are pumping the food, we are able to afford a very nice good, and it's an apapo. A very nice apapo that we're going to use for the light soup and pump the fufu. So all of you should come. It's going to be a good clean-up exercise, and it's going to be a nice one. And every NDC member should be there in their numbers. And we are going to clean our environment and make it clean. Well, listen, going to the issue of the MPP flag bearership. I have been one of the guys who has really vigorously campaigned for His Excellency John Dramani, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to become a flag bearer of the NPP. I have said this on so many platforms. I've contacted my pastors, I've contacted my imams, I've contacted my traditionalists, and I've made calls to people that are NPP delegates that are my friends to vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to become a flag bearer. So the day he was announced as a flag bearer of the NPP, I jubilated. I was so happy because I wanted him to become a flag bearer of the NPP. And I've said it here. I've said it on so many platforms. Brenda was here. Sidua. I have campaigned for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So if my brother sit here and said he's the one the NDC fears. I am NDC. I've campaigned for him to become a flag bearer. I am very happy for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Is it because he's a Northerner?
No, not because he's a Northerner, because he's the one who can answer the questions of the mess of the NPP. We have so many questions. Ghanaians have so many questions to ask him. So when you bring Afri Akoto, they will only ask for planting for food and billboards. There will be nothing to talk about. When you bring Adan Nimbo, they only ask him about how he left boss. There's nothing to talk about that. When you bring Kennedy Akompre Japan, you only ask him some questions of the attack of the media, attack of the celebrities, attack of the pastors. That's the question they're going to ask. But if you bring Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Ghanaians will ask me so many questions that we're going to ask. We'll ask where our one district, one factory is. We'll ask him where our one village, one village, one dam is. We'll ask him where our bank account is. We'll ask the people of Agbogbloshie. We now ask him the Kayayo people most of them are from Wale Wale, some are from all those Mankarago, some are from those areas in the east areas that are doing Kayayo, who contributed 5 Ghana cedi for the NPP in 2016 for them to become MPs. To go to the presidency. He went promising them that he's going to build trailers and get hostels for them. So we want to ask where the hostels are. These are questions we want to ask Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So for us, we are not tense. We are very happy for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to become a flag bearer. In fact, I mean, if you talk about Northerner, I don't believe politics of religion. I said it here. I don't believe tribal politics. He can be a friend. He's a friend as well. If I think that his policies and programs are good, as he was good of coming to answer to Ghanaians, I will still support him. If it's not good, Ghanaians.
You still support him?
Yes,
we are supporting.
No, I'm not going to leave NDC. See, we can vote based on issues. We can vote based on policies. But I will lay down the policies of President John Dramani Mahama and compare what he's talking about digitalization. But listen, so we are not tense with anything.
I want to know this.
Yes.
The two men coming from the north.
I'll come there.
Everybody is talking about the two men. I'll let you talk, but everybody's talking about the two men coming from the north. Yeah. It looks like, yes, the campaign messages will be good enough, but the decider also happens to be who their running mates are. Yesterday, I had a certain political conversation where people were saying that if John Dramani Mahama moves away from the central region, then the central region will become vacant, where Kennedy Japan will go and campaign heavily, and the NPP will definitely take over with the central region. But if he sticks with the central region, that is still keeping Professor Nana Jane, then it means that there's a high possibility the NDC will conquer the central region. Now we go to the NPP, where you have these two political parties, and like we are seeing, 7 names have popped up, and of course one person that has popped up that happens to be more neutral is Apostle Opoku Nyina, and this man is the Pentecost man. Everybody says that he being a leader in the Christendom, he's going to come in with neutrality. Will that help? Will that aid Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? Also, another name that has come up is Napo. That is the current energy minister. Now people are saying that with Napo, he's going to win the Ashanti region hands down. There are other names that have popped up as well, but there is a political analyst who is saying to him that, listen, do not look into the Ashanti region, but rather look into the western, central or eastern region. Richard?
Rosalind, so I disagree with in some extent of this. Rosalind, you see, whoever MPP chooses as his flag bearer, I think that
they have chosen a flag bearer.
Yeah, a running mate. For where I sit, I've always advocated, and I think my party might not like or they will like. I've always advocated. For where I sit, I don't see the NDC changing Professor Jenana Opoku as a flag bearer, the running mate of the NDC, because of the gender and the elite kingdom and the central region issues. He is a professor and he's been a lecturer, so he can catch up with the elite. She's a female, the feminine system is there, and from central region, I know they have to accept their own. But what happened in this current the NPP flag bearership race? So for us, we are not tense. I know and I believe that President John Dramani Mahama will go with Professor Jenana Opoku for us to go. But if the people you are mentioning, I don't see any contest in this. If you talk about the names that are popping up, the Pentecost man, Apostle Nyina, and we are told that he was not the chairman of cathedral. Are you aware? He was the chairman of the cathedral, the national cathedral, who has dumped a lot of money, dig the biggest hole in Africa, in the world, and it's there. I mean, when he promised, I told you that Jesus Christ is not homeless; he's with the Father enjoying him. but you took our money, and most of his college pastors have resigned. So if you talk about it's a Pentecostal, I don't think everybody in Pentecost church will vote for somebody who has dug a hole and kept the hole there. And I think that that kind of religious politics will stop. Rosalie, me, to be honest with you, if you look at Napo, I don't think what Napo is bringing on board. I will believe and hope that if let Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and his viewers, I know they are watching. If you want a very credible running mate in NPP, I will suggest you go for Dr. Dichum. Because yes, I think he's a very gentleman. I have no doubt about that. He's also a Pentecostal. So
well, his name has also popped up.
Yes, but he's also from the church of Pentecost. So if you think the Pentecostals are voting, I think he's quite a gentleman. Dr. Dichum is quite a gentleman.
Why the others are not?
Well, no, but you see, we have all been in this system for long. I have been doing politics for the past 16 years now. And I've dealt with people, I've known people, I've had conversation with people. I think that the NPP, I've always said this, Dr. Dichum is one of the guys who had vision, and when he talks and you listen, you feel that he's one of the right guys to go. But I don't know, whatever comes out will do. So when my brother sat here and was talking about we won't be scared of whoever comes, the NDC believe and hope that the programs and policies we are bringing in place, led by President John Dramani Mahama, we're going to win this election. Rosalind, you know, I don't know whether you monitor when we made the TUC, that's this Monday, the TUC presented their manifesto for us, and then when we start to bring our policies and programs that we are bringing up in 2024 elections, I think the TUC boss have applauded and clapped for it. The whole congregation was clapping for President John Dramani Mahama, and he said, if this really happened, then there's totally going to be a game changer. He sat here and talked about digitalization. You see, Rosalind, he is an economist, and when he knows very well that when you don't build the macro economy, the microeconomy cannot start. President John Dramani Mahama has put up all the necessary structures in the ICT system, the telcos and communication system, by building the digital center Accra here, and then laying the fiber optic, and we have enough reserve on the telecommunication telco center that today we are using. Built by President John Dramani Mahama. You came downloaded the apps. That's the micro. You downloaded the apps for the grounds we built. And then you are putting and say you are digitalizing this. It's all from Google. You just go to Google Play Store and download an app. But who has built the foundation of that? It's President John Dramani Mahama. He sat here talk about unemployment. Today, I'm telling you that unemployment, if you read the HR gap, unemployment is about 14% now as we speak now. The youth unemployment is about 42%. He sat here talk to you, and he mentioned that the national youth employment, they've created a youth in community teaching.
But the unemployment rate has gone down. Though. That's a fact.
Go and read the HR analysis gap.
But,
it is there.
But it's gone down. So let me give you a brief on it.
Yes.
Unemployment rate in Ghana here, as of 2016, it was 5.11%.
Yes.
As of 2014, it was as of 2023. Sorry, let me give you 2023.
Yes.
So 2023 is actually
2023.
Yes, it's 4.64%.
Yes.
Where do you get?
I'm using Google.
Google.
Yes.
Which everybody can download something on Google. That's what they've downloaded.
Employment statistics market.
This is from the Ghana Statistical Service.
So Ghana Statistical Service recently. No, hold on. Ghana Statistical Service recently told us that 1 million of the youth has no formal and informal unemployment in this country.
Yes, they did. But now they are saying that it's
so what do you get after 1 million out of 30%?
How did I?
That
it
alone,
is there.
no, that's what I'm saying. That alone, 1 million, over 1 million Ghanaians, they don't have education.
I remember
they
that
don't
report.
Have this. They don't have. They
I
don't
remember
have
that
this.
report.
And I am telling you today, if you go and read HR analysis gap, go Google unemployment, the youth unemployment rate in Ghana. Okay. It is 42%.
Okay, now this is what it says. The unemployment rate in Ghana is forecast to 4.64%. Now, 2016 was 5.11%. The unemployed people in Ghana is forecast to 1.2 million in 2023. So yes, the 1.2 million still remains. Yeah. It just means that
no, the 1.2 is for the youth who has no formal education, has no kind of has no kind of technical job that do. That alone is talking about those people. But we are talking about HR analysis gap.
Okay.
Then if you go to and read HR analysis gap, you get the statistics clear.
Okay.
Good. So that is why President John Dramani Mahama, he sat there and talked about youth employment. Under President John Dramani Mahama, what will move JIDA to YE, that's a youth employment agency, and give it the legal backing. And that's where I worked. And that's why I know what I'm talking about. What we did was that we created, us at the time when IMF and the conditionality was unemployment, what we do was that And that model, we created paid internship model. And the paid internship model was to target youth, graduate youth. And we employed over 10,000 youth into that area. When they came, they removed that model to the former vice presidency and made it Nana Bawumia Company Limited. That's now called NAPCO. And I'm telling you, it has been collapsed. We brought up youth.
It's not Nana Bawumia.
It's NAPCO. What is the name of NAPCO?
It's not Nana Bawumia.
Nation Builders Corps.
Okay, that's me.
Nation Builders.
But it's also called.
As for you, if you don't do propaganda, you cannot proceed with any kind of conversation.
AKA Nana Bawumia.
There's no name.
So it's also known as. It's also known as.
It's not also.
So
you should be happy that this administration has been able to bring this. So if he does propaganda, we will interject because he has nothing substantial to say.
That is why I'm here.
If he does propaganda, we will interject.
That is why I'm here. So allow me to handle it. Thank you very much.
We came out with the CITA, that's youth community teaching assistant. We have community police assistant. We brought up community prison assistant, community fire service assistant. We brought out health assistant. Now we brought out hairdressing, ICT, and then we came out with Arabic instructors into the English and Arabic schools. That's why they are the people who teach Makarata. Then we came out with youth in taxi driving. We came out with road maintenance. We came out with Zuel. And we came out with Eco Brigade model. About 15 models that employ close to 1 million youth under President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. And we had a good plan for them. After 2 years, there's an exit plan. So we partnered an insurance company. Whilst we pay insurance to this youth, when you exit, we give you your proceeds so that you can go for further studies. So we also partnered the teacher training colleges. That's what they call the distance learning. So when you teach after 2 years, it's assumed that you have practical knowledge of the. So you go and do your distance in Winneba and all that. So those are the things we did. Okay. So President John Dramani Mahama is saying that as he's coming, it's running a 24-hour shift economy.
We've heard about. I'll let you talk about
shift economy. No, let me just.
No, I'll let you talk about. I just want us to delve into the elections where the leader of the majority leader for the NPP is actually saying that it will not be too good if we should use the Ghana card to vote. Now he has reasons, and some of his reasons that he cited has to do with the fact that not everybody has access to being registered in the first place, easy access, and the second one has to do with the fact that some people have even registered and they still don't have their Ghana card. Hence, we should not limit the voting to only theGhana card. Manasseh, do you agree with him?
I'll have to take a bite on this.
Let's go into this one first.
He's made a lot of allegations. You even asked the question about two men coming from the north. He's had a share on it.
You will. Can you go into this and then we go into that?
We'll come back to that.
Yes, we will. I'll let you go into it. Don't worry at all.
Okay, so on the EC and this issue of Ghana card, you see, it is very important for every Ghanaian who has turned 18 years to be able to have this Ghana card, so that going into the 2024 election, they'll be able to register onto the voter register and then ensure they are able to vote. So that is the crux of the matter. Now the question is the NIA able to print Ghana cards for all Ghanaians to ensure that going into the 2024 election, no one will be disenfranchised? That is the question. Now, NIA, of course, has had some few challenges, but government is ensuring that when it comes to finances, we are able to support them with money so that it would never be the case. It is not the aim of government, to deprive NIA of resources, and by extension to deprive Ghanaians, most of whom will even be eligible or 18 years next year. And so government is working around the clock. I remember somewhere, either early this year or last year, so when the NIA boss was in parliament to answer some questions, within the same period, government released funds for them to expedite work on this Ghana card issue. And so I am confident, and the NIA themselves has even mentioned that they know and they are aware that given the rate of work and the finances government is making available to them, they are confident that they'll be able to provide all Ghanaians, those who have registered, eligible Ghanaians, they'll be able to provide them with the Ghana card. So that going forward into the 2024 election, it would never be the case that anybody will be disenfranchised. I mean, over the years, we've had a lot of complaints and various issues as it relates to the guarantor system. And we have had instances where you would find minors in some areas of the country. You find people parading minors just to go and register, and you ask them, clearly you could know that this person is just 9 years or 10 years, and yet they'll be challenging you that this person is 18. In most instances, you would find foreigners, especially those who are living across the borders. You find foreigners crossing in from Togo, Burkina Faso, and other neighboring countries coming in to register. And these are things we would have to put a stop to by ensuring that if we have a standardized national ID, which is the Ghana card, we'll be able to delineate between foreigners and even minors to ensure we reduce the incidences of those people who are not eligible enough to vote. It will be so unfair for us to be in our country and you would find people coming in from Togo in their thousands or even 10,000s coming to decide who should be president for us.
How sure are we? I don't know why you are basing it on Togo, because you don't even know who is voting for you, who is not voting for the NPP.
But how sure are we? I'm saying it is wrong.
How sure are we? But because you concentrated on Togo.
I mentioned Togo, I mentioned Burkina Faso, I mentioned Cote d'Ivoire, the neighboring countries.
Now, how sure are we that this Ghana card that we are given is going to be given to only Ghana nationals and not even people coming from neighboring countries and coming for it? Because let me cite a typical example. Aisha 1 had a Ghana card.
You know, Ghana card, don't forget that Ghana card is also being done for foreigners, and there's an indication on it. So when you are a foreigner and you come in country, you come to Ghana and you stay here for over 90 days, you should be issued a Ghana card. You cannot vote or you cannot even register onto the EC system with your foreigner Ghana card. That is it. And so if you are from Togo or you are from US or wherever and you've been in country for a period and you have the foreigners ID card, that cannot allow you to even register.
I'm not talking about the foreigners own. I'm talking about our Ghana card. Yes. There are so many Nigerians with Ghana card. Aisha 1 is the closest one. Let's not even look far. Aisha 1, the Chinese national, beautiful Chinese. You know, she didn't change it national. She's Chinese. Had a Ghana card.
Rosalie, let's establish the fact that if you are a foreigner and you are in the country, you are also issued a foreigner's ID card.
I'm not talking about foreigner's ID card. I'm talking about Ghana card.
And whatever ID card Aisha 1 had,
it's a Ghana card.
It's a foreigner's ID card, not the Ghana. We can go back.
It wasn't a foreigner's ID card. It was a Ghana card.
It is never the case.
It was a Ghana card.
It is never the case. If you are a foreigner, you cannot be issued the Ghana's
and that is why there was an issue with it. There was an issue with the fact that she had a Ghana card, not a foreigner card.
You see, what I'm surprised you are unable to appreciate what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it is the same. See, when you travel outside, for most countries, of course, as a foreigner, they need to identify you. They need to get you onto their system. We do the same thing. So what I'm saying is that as a foreigner in this country, you are also issued a foreigner's ID card. Now, when you are a foreigner,
different from the Ghana card.
Of course, they are all Ghana card. But in our case, we have the one that is for our local residents. The foreigners have Ghana card, but there's an indication on it that this person is a foreigner, and so that person cannot register onto our voter system.
Anyway,
and so we shouldn't mix the two, that if you're a foreigner, if you are a Chinese, a clear Chinese, except the person probably is being born in Ghana, it makes it difficult for you to even register onto the system. That cannot be the case.
Okay, that's fine. For those of you at home, you can also join the conversation by sending in your messages to us, and let's have this conversation.
See, non-citizen.
She had a Ghana card.
No, non-citizen ID card.
Let's continue.
That was the point I was establishing, please.
Where is it?
Not in red. Non-citizen ID card. This is it. Non-citizen ID card.
Very well.
Okay.
So it can never be the case that if you are a foreigner, I can show you my Ghana card. You would not find a citizen over there. So we need to establish this, and I'm glad your people put this
okay, that's fine. Yeah. For you at home, you can join in the conversation and let's have a very solid conversation. Send your messages to us. Richard, you wanted to make a point, then I can let Manasseh touch on the other
Thank
issue.
you.
Rosalind, touching about national identification card as sole registration from the EC as the Met Parliament yesterday. Before I go there, let me make this clear to Manasseh. If you care to know, as the time Aisha 1 was arrested, Aisha 1 has a non-citizen national identification card. That one is allowed that every foreigner, when they come to the country, you go and take an ECOWAS country ID. That was non-citizen.
Sure.
Number 2, Aisha 1 has a residential national identification card.
It was
Where is the card? Where is it?
It was
No,
there.
it's there.
Though.
Where
It
is
was
it?
there. So I'm surprised we're having this conversation. Because it was there. It was out there.
We
saw it. Let's continue.
We actually argue this issue
Let's
that
continue.
how come Aisha 1 had this national identification, and then they proved this one. Then the media also proved the national identification. I personally want the national identification to check It is there.
You went to
Aisha
check.
One has a national identification.
This is what she has. Non-citizen ID card.
That is why.
Stop all this propaganda. Non-citizen.
That is why.
She's a Chinese or so. How can she have?
His time.
Manasi has never and ever did propaganda in this country. I am the only propagandist. I understand. But Manasi, you should know in propaganda, we have 3 types of propaganda. We have grey, white, and black. I always do a white propaganda. I say it as it is. It's not all propaganda.
You never say anything as it is.
So,
you always lie.
Oteche Mensa Bonsu has now realized that the argument the NDC and then the minority caucus in parliament have been raising that the national identification card should not be the sole registration card for this. And we even argue that, look, if you're even talking about it, we should have a guarantorship system. And Jane Mensa, the MPP woman, disagree with us. Now, you want a lead in parliament, and the parliament now is saying that it shouldn't be only registration card. You could recall, a lot of people have been queuing. If you go through, Shashi right now, just opposite Food and Drug Authority, where Christ Embassy charges, the head of it there. You see millions of Ghanaians trooping in there to go for the card. And there was a time, I don't know, as it still sounds today, they said before you can get a national identification, you pay 250 Ghana cedi. And how many people can afford the 250 Ghana cedi? And the centers have not been decentralized. Before you can register, you have to come to Accra. Even the district office was not doing registration. And so just of recent, they started the satellite registration for some period of time, they stopped. So we are saying that if you want to use that as the only source of registration, then a lot of Ghanaians will not get access to registration. Look, Rosie, let me just make an instance. There's just of recent, there have been a dam spillage. 19 districts were affected. They don't have the voters ID card, they don't have national identification ID card now. Assuming without admitting that today, these guys are going to do registration, where will they get a national identification card to register? We went to court about the birth certificate, and court ruled in its own wisdom, you can't use only the birth certificate to register. But then there can be a guarantor system that, because I know Rosalind, and I know, me, I've seen Menasi know Rosalind, we can come and guarantee for you that this is what. And then you sat here and say that people coming from Togo, let me be clear with you. When we're doing
you mentioned Burkina too.
Burkina Faso. Let me be clear with you. When we were doing registration in this country, just before the 2020 election, I was denied registration.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Are
you not from Togo?
No, hold on.
Are you not from Togo?
No, he's not from Togo.
No, I'm not from Togo. I was denied registration. Somebody who has been a branch secretary of my party, be a constituency executive,
why did they deny you though?
Being a municipal director, being a parliamentary aspirant, being a regional executive.
Said why
rigorous checks.
Being a parliamentary aspirant of my political party, when I go there, they say I'm a Fulani man. I can't register. That was what they told me.
You are doing propaganda.
No, I'm being honest with you. You can go and check. You can go and check. I was almost chased out from the police station. Oh. You remember in Kwantasa there was a gunshot.
Fulani.
I don't know why they said Fulani. I don't know whether Fulani is on vote. But we have Fulanis here in this country. And then why are they not voting? So that means a lot of women will not, Fulani women will not vote in this country. You understand? So they said I'm Fulani, and they were almost denying me of registration. I am not Fulani, I'm a Konkomba.
Okay.
You understand?
But the Fulanis are Ghanaians, aren't they?
Some of them are Ghanaians. Some of them are Ghanaians. I mean, even the second lady is a Fulani.
I was going to say
yes, but she's a Ghanaian. Yeah. So we are Fulani who are ambassadors, we are Fulani who are in parliament today. And so why were you denying me? They said I'm not a Ghanaian. And they deliberately wanted me not to get a voter's ID card. It has to come with chaos and they come with agitation before I'll be able to register.
So you fired a gunshot?
No. The national security fired a gunshot there. It was on news. I mean, it's a public information. So if you sit here and say the minors were registering, we record that's of recent. We saw in Ashanti region, a place like Fomosua and those areas, young kiddies of our 9, 7, 8 years. We're on the queue. I'm telling you, we're on the queue.
9 years, how can I
said
go and register?
They were on the queue.
Dear.
And I'm telling you, see, that's what the MPP doesn't know. Thinking that the NDC bring people from Togo to come and register and do you know Aflawo very well?
No, I don't know very well.
You don't know, but you know Aflawo.
I know Aflawo.
If you look at Aflawo border, it's just like this house is Togo, this house is Ghana. So during registration, if I've gone to Togo to go to Ashigame to go and buy something, the people go there to buy food stuff and even cap. And I'm crossing, and when I cross, I'm coming to register. I'm from Togo. If you go to my constituency like this, in Kwantasa, Dikpolo and Yase, it's just like from here to your other media station and next year. So people farm in that other communities. And so sometimes that's what the lockdown, a lot of activities went down. People were in their farm when there was lockdown, so they have to stay in their farm for months. And so you should understand the dynamic of some areas. You don't think that Ghanaians...
Richard Manuribi, we didn't have lockdown for months.
How many times do you have? How many months do you have the lockdown?
It was just about 3 weeks or so.
Okay, so 3 weeks, barely a month.
And they stayed in their farm for months.
People farmed in the next borderline, and you say you've closed.
But they didn't lock your doors.
No, they've locked. Nobody crossed the border.
But they'll have.
So if you go to the Kolo border, it was locked. If you go to Free border, it was locked. So if you go to Tinyasi border, it was locked.
They stayed in
their farms.
Okay.
So
their farms are not in Ghana.
Oh no, you see, because you live in the barracks. Me, I live in Bonache.
No, explain
so let me
to
tell you.
us,
So
because
so what happens is that a typical farmer, he has a community where he lives, but in his farm he has a place of abode where he sleeps. So sometimes they go to farm on Monday,
which is not in Ghana. The place of abode is not in.
It might not be in Ghana because it's a borderline. They speak the same language.
So he had a place to stay.
No, so they speak the same language. They have the common culture, but because of the transborder Togo land demarcations. So you see that somebody is in Ghana, the junior brother is in Togo, and that junior brother is a Ghanaian. Doesn't mean it's not a Ghanaian. So when you have that,
but you're living in Togo.
Yes.
Yeah, Ghanaians.
Yeah,
but yeah, Ghanaians living in London.
Yeah, Ghanaians living in London. So, but they come down to Ghana when they get to the airport. And then they come to East Legon to come and register. They are Ghanaians. But somebody from Sarkawa crossing to Tinjasi is not a Ghanaian. Meanwhile, he was born and bred, and his family, they all live in Ghana. Just because his family in Sarkawa.
Oh, somebody from
Dadiase. But because he's from Dadiase, he's living in Dukbolo or Kachinke, which is Togo. But he's farming in that communities. But when he's crossing the Dukbolo border to come and farm, to come and register, because he's a Ghanaian. Look at somebody from Kwi. And he live in Bulu, and he just a strong throw in Bulu. So I'm farming in Bulu. They said I no registration. When I cross, now you see the MPP agents backing. Backing like there's no tomorrow. That the NDC is buzzing. It is sometimes, let us be real as Ghanaians. There's some reality on the ground that we should be doing. And so if J. Mensah Bonsu realizes that maybe he's going for his last term, and he feels that now that he needs to get more vote in his area, he's fighting for that agenda, we support. We are saying that the guaranteed system should be there. And national identification should not be so ID card for registration. Are we talking about the spillage of the dam now, where the ID cards are all washed away?
I think they'll do something about it.
So
definitely they'll do something.
So if they don't even do something about it, if you don't do something about it, they're going to register. How will they register? So you see, let us get an accurate way of registration, because the next NDC that is coming, we don't want a situation where there will be chaos. We don't want a situation where we want to have a peaceful the process. You have barely 7 months to go, because by May there's a political season. So I think that the Mensah should also stay put.
Did they tell you they have barely 7 months?
No, but I mean from we are.
But they said they are breaking the 8.
Break what 8?
Why did you look at me like that?
No, I'm just surprised when they also say break.
But I said they said
Rosie,
they are breaking the 8.
When we were driving through the motorway today, you look too. Because the journalists are not even free now, and you go and cast your vote for MPP. Will you do that?
Hey,
Rosie,
why? Do you know who I'll vote for?
I know you vote for NDC. But Rosie, what are you talking about? You vote for NDC.
Even you will not vote for NDC. Even him will not even vote for NDC. Even you.
What will you say?
Even you will not even vote for your own
party.
So what we are saying is that the next NDC that is coming, we want to have a very robust economy. And then I think that J. Mensah should listen. I've sent a warning to J. Mensah. The other day, Slipper did the same thing. When I was declaring election for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he declared and under-declared. Were you aware?
It was a mistake.
Well, yeah, there's always been doing mistakes. The Electoral Commission has always been doing mistakes.
It was a mistake.
The same mistake he did in 2020.
He corrected it.
There was the same mistake they did in 2020.
He corrected it there and then.
It was the youth. It was the youth and Dr. Bawumia supported that raised an alarm before they corrected it.
It's okay.
So he shouldn't dare do that in 2020.
It's okay. We all saw it on TV that it was a mistake.
He under-declared.
So Richard is just conjecturing by the analogy he gave that when he had wanted to register, they were claiming he was Fulani. You see, we cannot accept.
Rosalie.
We cannot accept.
Just a minute. No.
Wait, let him land and then we can.
Without providing evidence.
The people of Mandasa Service is watching.
Wait,
Richard.
Just open the phone line and they'll confirm this.
Richard.
Provide evidence.
Just open the phone line. They even the agent will call.
Provide evidence. I can also conjecture and say things that may not be true.
And Richard. Now, if somebody has said that this is what happened to him, you were not there. You can't say that was a lie.
So he has to provide us with facts, with evidence.
Listen, Manasseh, he says this is what happened to him. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Just like if you are coming and you tell us that your car tie got best, we will give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's move on from there. Please, he says this is what happened to him. Let's just move on and have a good discussion. Please continue. Thank you.
Because of the level of conversation we are having, it is important for everything we say to be subjected to facts.
Certainly.
But
In reality. Otherwise, when you present your subjective views in issues like this, then it makes it difficult for people to believe you.
Manasseh,
that is the point. So you ask him that in the end, was do you have your Ghana card now?
It's not
Do you have it?
voters ID card we're talking about.
No, you mentioned Ghana card.
voters-
then-
no,
he didn't talk about Ghana card.
I'm aware, he has that.
Voters
Yes,
card.
no, I have it.
Were you registered?
Manasseh,
finally?
please, you are not the one. No, you are not the one in charge. Please, Richard,
No, I'm just
Manasseh,
probing what he was
Manasseh,
saying.
don't probe because you are not in charge of the show. You don't do the probing. I do the probing. Please move on.
Before he's a
The
good
point-
friend, you want to take advantage.
Thank you.
You know, the point I want to establish
Because he's
is
a good
that
friend, you want to take advantage.
in the end, because he is Ghanaian, he had a chance to be registered onto the voter ID or the voter registration system. And it tells you again that the system is not porous. It is very rigorous, such that even if you are a Ghanaian, you wouldn't go through with ease like that. You would have to answer for certain questions. It cannot be the case that you just come, then you just run through like that. So you should even commend the EC
For that.
exercise. Otherwise, the system will be compromised and it will make it very easy for everybody to register onto it. And then again, Richard, when you listen to what the Honorable Majority Leader said, he wasn't speaking to support the NDC and the claim by the NDC that the Ghana card should not be the sole document for the registration. What he sought to explain was that it is important for every Ghanaian to have the Ghana card, especially those who are 18 years and above, and even for those who turn 18 years next year, so that they will be able to register onto the voter registration system and also have the opportunity to vote. And he also issued a caveat that if the NIA can assure Ghanaians that even with the masses who will turn 18 next year, if they can assure us that they will be able to register all of them, then the Ghana card can be the sole document. The Ghana card can be the sole document for the voter registration exercise. Otherwise, then there should be a problem. Then of course, this is simple because it will be unfair for someone who is 18 years, right? Let's say someone turns 18, December, or even next year, June, right? Then we are going into the election and the person is not having his or her Ghana card, and so the person is unable to register onto the system. Of course, there should be a way to enable that person to vote. Even me and the MPP and most people will join in that fight, because it cannot be the case that you be 18 years and you cannot vote and you even have sound mind. And so that is fair, but that was never to support the claim of the NDC because they have their own ulterior motive.
Why can't we be Ghanaians and not look at it from the angle of political parties? Because this is a case whereby your majority leader is speaking the same language that the NDC is speaking. So can we now see it as it's not the NDC, it's not the NPP, but as a leader in Ghana, this is how he's speaking on behalf of Ghanaians?
The majority leader is not speaking the same language as the minority. What the minority is saying is that we shouldn't use the Ghana card as the only document to register to vote, right? The majority leader is saying that if the EC intends to use the Ghana card as the sole document, then the NIA should be able to produce the Ghana card for everybody who will register. And if they're able to give us that assurance, then it will be important for the Ghana card to be the sole document to register onto that. If not, then of course it will be important for other procedures to be considered to ensure that we do not disenfranchise anyone. I go back to your first issue of two men coming.
He hasn't spoken even half what you did.
Yes.
Please make your point.
I go back to your initial comments of two men coming from the north, and it is very, very important for us to have this conversation. Over the period, we've seen the facts as it relates to what these two men have been able to do, especially for the people in the north. One of them, who is a vice president, has been able to ensure that today there is an interchange in Tamale. One has been able to ensure that we have drone systems that is able to supply medicines, all right, and even blood and so many other things to deprived communities. Unfortunately, When you ask
but
what's
the drone system still working?
It is working.
Okay.
It is working.
Where?
And don't
Which
forget,
areas?
across the country.
I'm yet to see.
Even there's one at Takomadan and so many other places. Unfortunately, one, when he was president, was not able to do much for the North.
Just talk about what you've
and
done, though.
He even brought disgrace to the North with this issue of Airbus scandals, guinea fowl flying to Burkina Faso, and all of that. And so, with the two men coming from the North, I have said time and over again that His Excellency the Vice President will beat the former president. Because even just because he's Vice President today, we've seen what he's been able to do. It will be unprecedented what he will do when he becomes president. And so, there is no denying the fact that we will win the elections.
Okay.
There's no and Richard, we don't have 7 months to go. We will break the 8. We will break the 8.
All right, let's take some comments.
With the facts.
With
the gains we are making in the economy. So it is don't think in your wildest imagination that we just have 7 months.
I think we even got a message coming in from one person who was present when Richard struggled to get his registration done. If you can send in your message to tell us exactly what happened that day, we'll be grateful. So please send the message to the WhatsApp line. Unfortunately, we can't answer calls. If we open the phone line, we are in trouble because today we have more than 50 messages that we have to read. Greetings, Joy Prime. I know NDC will continue with their usual jokes and will lose the 2024 elections and come back to tell Ghanaians that the elections were rigged. This NDC man, I hope doesn't have anything good to tell us this morning. The coming of Dr. Bawumia is scaring them. Inshallah, MPP will surely break. NDC with John Mahama, they have already lost the elections. Nana Aguna Soetro. Thank you, Nana. Good morning, Joy Prime. Tell the NPP man that a lot of people have Ghana cards who are foreigners. Isaac Alai from Hohoi. All right, Isaac. Good morning. NPP is only party that thinking of poor and middle class people. The reason is that NPP brought health insurance which benefit all. NPP brought a leap for which Ghana pay this poor old men and women, YEA, which is youth employment, for which youth of Ghana are employed, and many more. Madam asked the NDC man to mention 1 or 2 such interventions which help poor people. Assalamu alaikum to you all. How can you compare the rotten groundnut to a fresh groundnut? All the promise of this government has rot in the hands of Dr. Bawumia. The Ghanaians have already decided to give the mantle to JDM in 2024. At Chiasi constituency for Honorable Samuel Owusu Breku, NDCPC, and JDM. Mohammed Zaino Abedin Zongo Kokos at Chiasi constituency. All right, Mohammed. Fellow Ghanaians, don't fall for any lies from Dr. Bawumia and his MPP government. In 2024 from Abladi, Ifiakuma Zongo Takrade. Good morning to you, Joy Prime, and your panelists. Election of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as NPP flag bearer is poised on collapsing NDC propaganda on tribalism and religious bigotry. In 2008, Fifi Kwete, the current General Secretary of the NDC, said Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would never get the chance to lead the NPP because he's not an Akan. And again, he went ahead to make a dangerous statement that Muslims can never become a president of Ghana. The question I ask him is that, does he still hold that view? Thank you, NPP delegates, for making us proud and shaming the NDC leading members. Fifi Kwete should eat his words and apologize to Ghanaians. Abdul Karim Zugulana from Gushegu constituency, Northern Region. My regards to my MP, Honorable Hassan Tampuli, Deputy Minister of Transport. The NPP just elected a candidate last Saturday, and the media is inundated with who Bawumia chooses as a running mate. Mahama was elected 6 months ago and nobody seems to be interested in his running mate. Interesting days ahead, Yao Minta. Good morning, Rosalie and your team. Why should the NPP be thinking of breaking the 8 to do exactly what differently? Do they really know what Ghanaians are going through? A vote for Bawumia is certainly a vote for the third term bid for this super incompetent government led by Akufo-Addo and Bawumia from Prosper Peki. Good morning to you. We all want to see this current political administration exhibiting good governance better than first term in office. But with the look of things, the entire economic picture is not quite clear, with the exception of free SHS, which we can clearly see the direction this policy is taking and its impact. What about one district, one factory? What is happening to this policy? 1D1F is achievable. This policy can only be realistic if the government adhere to the following point below: cutting down government expenditure and channel this money into this policy. Government should reduce the ministerial board to small size to be able to get enough money to execute 1D1F in all the districts assemblies. Aaron Bebako Kokomisa. We'll have to definitely hold on to some of the messages, but do send in your messages from home as well as we delve into other conversations. Now let's go to Cocoa Board. Richard, are we ready for the Cocoa Board conversation?
So before we go to Cocoa Board,
No,
but it was the two main
Cocoa Board,
issues.
what is happening in Cocoa Board is that Cocoa Board always sources for loan to be able to hold the cocoa sector. This time around, the loan has delayed. Hence, Cocoa Board will now have to go for their loan from these cocoa farmers, meaning that they have to borrow $2 million from the cocoa farmers to be able to hold the cocoa sector in order that it doesn't collapse, as they wait for the main banking sectors that they go for the loans from to give them the loans, and then they will pay back. Richard, I'll start the conversation with you.
So Rosalind, this all boiled down to the two men in the north, from the north.
You have already spoken about it.
It's all boiled down to this. About economic management. This is about economic management issue.
But you have spoken about it.
Yes, I've spoken about it.
So let's go to Cocoa Board.
So the Cocoa Board issue that we are talking about, I heard Fifi Boafo, the Director of Public Affairs of Ghana Cocoa Board, have come out to tell us that they couldn't get the syndicated loan as planned because they wanted an amount of 1.2 billion CD to buy cocoa for this year. And normally this
it's not CDs, it's in dollars.
Yes, in dollars. Yeah, 1.2 billion syndicated loan, but they were going to take 800 million from the syndicated loan and source $400 million from other sources that they will be able to discern. But according to them, the funders, the supporters, or those people that were funded the money have not released the money. And this cocoa being supposed to be bought by September of this year. We are in November. You see, we are in November. So how are they be able to preserve the cocoa beans? Because we know that Ghana is the largest producer of cocoa, second largest producer of cocoa in the world. And then that's one of our source of income that we use our revenue. And if you check the previous government, where we were able to reach, President Mills Mahama administration, we were able to reach 1 million tons of buying of cocoa. And we started with all the process of the cocoa, mass cocoa spraying programs, and we're giving fertilizers to cocoa farmers. And that's where we're able to get enough revenue to, even as much as we came, we only met one oil field, you recall. And that was major source of revenue in this country, and the natural resource we use. So it's something that's dangerous. And then Ghana they're now going to beg buyers of the cocoa, those people that buy cocoa from us, they're then going to beg them to borrow $200 million for them to go and buy, which I know that means that if you look at the proceeds we have as a nation, $200 million can't buy even enough cocoa for us to do. And then I know it's going to give them the highest condition. But Rosalind, I'm surprised all of a sudden all institutions in this country is broke. BOG is broke. Now Cocoa Board is broke. The the presidency is broke. Everywhere is broke. Apart from NTC, everybody is broke in this country. Institutions, agencies, and individuals.
They never said they were broke. They never said they were broke.
BOG. Yeah. About how much is lost there? There's nothing in BOG now.
They said
Rosalind, there's nothing in BOG.
But they didn't say that they are broke.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. How are they able to pay their workers?
Last week, I roamed the whole Accra. I wanted fresh noodle. I couldn't get.
But that doesn't mean
they have chopped all the money. All the money was being used for MPP elections. Now Cocoa Board is telling you they are also broke. Go to every institution, go to government agency. They are all broke. See, and
Cocoa Board didn't say they are broke.
You know what?
No, Richard, the Cocoa Board never said
they don't have money to buy cocoa beans.
That is not what it is.
No,
they always go for a loan.
They go for syndicated loan.
And the loan has delayed.
Why is it delayed? Because the banks doesn't have confidence in this government. The guy doesn't have confidence in this. Were you told? As yesterday.
I hope you know that there's economic crisis worldwide.
Well,
right?
who told you there was
so if there's economic crisis worldwide, and they have gone and the loan, it's not always that when you go and you apply for a loan, it's released to you immediately. There are processes. Sometimes it might delay. Now it's delayed, and they are saying that it's just delayed. They never said they were broke.
Yesterday I read a report that La General Hospital, the founders have pulled out their support from the building the hospital. You know why? They said we have gone to IMF, the conditionalities in which we are, they can't risk their investments. Yes, so this is what is happening in the country. Nobody has confidence in investment. IMF even told us that there's lack of confidence in borrowing in this country again. This is a country.
When did they say that?
Their report before they gave us the loan. When they came to do the IMF assessment. So now Cocoa Board, we don't have money to buy. So President John Dramani Mahama. What is it?
That is not what it is.
Are you speaking about Cocoa Board?
I am not speaking for the MPP. I'm not speaking for Cocoa Board.
But let's speak to facts. The person who came to release the press is an MPP person.
No, let's speak to facts. The fact is that it's not about the fact that they save a certain amount of money and they use that money to do what they had to do. That is not what it is. Year on, under your government, you still went for that loan. That syndicated loan is a loan that it's a norm. It is not about the fact that we've gone broke, we have money we use all the time, and now we are going to collect this money. It's not like that.
Since Kwame Nkrumah, we'll go for syndicated loans. We use some to buy cocoa fertilizers. We use some to buy the spraying little vet and those things for farmers. And we use some to pay cocoa scholarship, and we use some to construct road, and the rest used to buy beans, go and sell and come and pay off.
Exactly.
But under this government, they are telling you that in as much as they started the agreement of the loan for the past 2 years, they've not gotten cash.
And so they
can't buy because there's lack of confidence in investing in this country. And that's the reality on the ground. Because you are giving fertilizer for cocoa farmers to buy and then go and use what we're doing free. So what have you used the money for? This government, when we started the cocoa roads, I don't even know, I know that Dambai Junction to Krachakura to Ofosu Dambai road. Cocoa syndicated. If you go to Otiri, it's one of the largest producers of cocoa in Ghana here. You are aware. Go to Ampeyu, Papasi, Dain, and those areas. These are the areas where they farm cocoa. When they started constructing cocoa road, when the MPP came, they canceled all those roads. They don't deserve cocoa. They were going to do what? Auditing. Spend about 11 million Ghana cedis. And those roads are still there, unconstructed. Spend money for auditing. Contractors are on the side, are not even doing anything. What did you use the money in Cocoa Board for? That's the question you should ask.
But it still doesn't say that the money in Cocoa Board is what you used to fund these things. Because, like you said, since Kwame Nkrumah's era, we've been going for this syndicated loan. Anyway, let me go to Manasseh.
No, let's make a point. Let me make a point.
You haven't made your point.
You're not being fair to me. I am a
You haven't made your point.
You see, Manasseh is crying.
You've been speaking for the past 5 minutes. You haven't made a point. You started at 7:25.
No, it's fine. Because when you hear...
No, but he hasn't said anything.
You are going around the circles.
What is he crying?
When I'm
Manasseh, please start. Manasseh, please. 5 minutes. You're talking for 5 minutes. Let me allow Manasseh to make a point.
Is it Manasseh because Manasseh is a good friend?
You're all my good friends. I chat with you all the time.
You see, it's negative propaganda.
5 minutes, you haven't landed. 1 minute to land.
No, but Roslyn, I am telling you that President John Dramani Mahama is having a solution to this problem. So we're going to give out free fertilizers, we're going to spray the farms for you free, and we're going to stop illegal mining that will not interfere in this. And the cocoa syndicated loan, anytime we have it, there will be value for money. Because we want to set up office of value for money, and we will not be struggling going to beg buyers who come to buy for us to get money to go and buy and come and give it to you again. That's better trade.
Appointment made.
Appointment made.
Okay. And that's it.
You see, Richard just sought to misrepresent the facts. And as you rightly established, there has been a traditional or a conventional way within which Cocoa Board operates. And that's in every year in September, they outsource for syndicated loans to ensure that when they open the cocoa season, they'll be able to use that to buy cocoa beans from the farmers. So that has been the practice, even from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's time, as you rightly alluded to. I have to mention that Fifi Boafo, you mentioned Fifi Boafo. The story on My Joy Online also mentioned Fifi Boafo.
Yes.
But he has not granted any interview to that effect. In fact, a rejoinder has been issued on that. And so we want to be clear that he hasn't...
Maybe his name was mentioned because of the PRO.
And the story says, according to a story from routers or so. So I just want to reiterate the rejoinder so that we don't, include his name in these things. But the conventional way has been that every year in September, Cocoa Board will have to go for these loans. Now, when you look at the financial architecture of the world today, you realize that it has become difficult financially to even, get funds all over the world. And so it has dragged our conversation. That is why Cocoa Board has had to look out for other means to ensure they are able to raise money to pay for these things. But it has to be established that it is not the case that Cocoa Board is broke. Of course, in their operations, sometimes they incur losses, just as Bank of Ghana did as was reported some few months ago. But that doesn't mean they are broke. On the Bank of Ghana issue, we have, explained time and over again, and beyond the negative propaganda NDC seeks to do, Bank of Ghana is not broke. No money has been stolen. No money has been lost.
But losses
it was only the losses are technical losses. The losses are hold on.
So it's not cash.
Richard, they are not cash. The losses are technical losses that came out of the 50% haircut they had to from the bonds they hold for government. And again, the losses also...
Wait, Manasseh, if you go into that area, then, can we stick to this one? Because the area that you are delving into is becoming...
but we've explained this time and over again.
No. You know that these haircuts that happened, the Bank of Ghana had to print a certain amount of money to be able to hold Ghana. And that is why. So monies have been lost. Let's not make it seem as though it's technical. Money has been lost. Let's leave it like that. 60 billion has been lost. Let's continue with our Cocoa Board conversation, please.
You have, let's say, 50 billion. I want to give you a simple analogy, just so you will appreciate.
Let's stick to our Cocoa Board.
I am explaining that Bank of Ghana and Cocoa Board, they are not broke. Richard was making some wild allegations. You see, we need to verify whatever we say. Otherwise, we will only be spewing a lot of things that are untrue. You are saying there is no money at Bank of Ghana. So last week or so, when you were combing through the city of Accra, you couldn't even find fresh notes. Have you ever heard, in the advent of the losses BOG made, that they are unable to pay their workers? Have you ever heard that in the advent of the losses they made, they are unable to go about their supervisory role? Have you ever heard? No, I'm talking about Bank of Ghana. Have you ever heard?
And he's not asking you a question. He's not asking you a question. He's just throwing it into the air.
I'm asking you a rhetorical question.
He's not asking you a question.
Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
And so let's not create the impression that some monies are being stolen or some monies are lost. These are technical losses. And again, I explained that when you look at...
Monies have been lost.
Yes, of course, monies have been lost because...
Monies have been lost. Let us also not play with the minds of Ghanaians. Monies have been lost, period. Let's move on to our Cocoa Board thing.
So you see, when you have, for example, let's say $50 billion, right, with Bank of Ghana, all right, and out of the $50 billion, by way of bonds, you expect to, gain some interest, all right, or coupons on these bonds. And let's say within 5 years, we expect to get...
Manasseh, you're swearing out. No, we have 2 minutes to end our conversation. So you don't have time. I'm ending my conversation in the next 2 minutes. So
if there are challenges and then some restructuring is done. Some restructuring is done to ensure that this 50 billion you invested is now being reduced. It doesn't mean there were huge sums of money that has been lost or something. I just want to explain the fact that all these state institutions do operate at their optimum level. Sometimes they have challenges, sometimes they run at a loss, but these losses do not in any way impede their operations. Bank of Ghana today, it is their main target to ensure that they're able to drive down inflation through their inflation targeting policy and even the monetary policy rate. What is inflation today? What was inflation last year, December? 54.1% as against 38.1%. I am not saying inflation rate is perfect, but you can see the significant gains we are making in the economy with inflation figures coming down, with the stability we have gained in our city.
You talk about last year's inflation.
That's why I mentioned that it is not a perfect situation.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned that 38.1 is still high.
It's different though.
No,
it's the same government that had that inflation.
What I am saying is that the policies they are implementing are working. Bank of Ghana, of course, are making a lot of significant gains as it relates to their main core mandate, which has to do with driving down inflation and also ensuring stability of our currency. And that is what we are experiencing today. And so let's not do our usual
So we
cheap
moved away
politics
from
by
Cocoa
saying
Board to Bank of Ghana.
No, because he mentioned that I had to.
You have spent
I had to-
more time
and he
on,
also
on
mentioned
Bank
that
of Ghana
there is
than
no
Cocoa Board.
confidence. He mentioned there is no confidence in the economy, and so
No, but-
now investors are running away. Richard, I want to draw your attention to the fact that today, United States of America, and even France, and even Germany, and even UK our government has had conversation with them. And US, for example, they are ready to expend about $300 million to ensure we build a data center for the whole of Africa. It will be built here in Accra. In Ghana, we are receiving a lot of funding from most of these bilateral, multilateral.
Now you start learning from NDC.
They have made commitments.
Hold on.
No, Richard, hold on.
We have
Let me say thank you to you, gentlemen, for being here. Richard Manurubi.
No, hold on. You can't respect my fellow. We have told them move from capital market to bilateral and multilateral.
When I say
Richard, can you mute Richard's microphone, please?
We must stop this.
Can we mute it? We are not talking about it. We are not talking about it. All right, so I'll say a very big thank you to the gentleman for being here. Manasseh Atambuahin represented the NPP this morning, and Richard Manurubi, you represented the NDC this morning. That has been all for Newsflash segment. I don't know what I'll do with these two gentlemen. They are just like, oh my goodness. Anyway, the other conversations coming your way now. Today is a Thursday, and so we are delving into our relationship conversation where we talk about Richard, are you married?
It's private.
What is private?
Richard, declare your stance. What do you mean private?
Are you married?
Are you married?
Yes, I am married.
Okay,
Are you married?
If you're married, I'm no more married.
Are you married?
I said if you're married, I'm no more married.
Why? Who was your wife?
You, of course.
Manasseh, are you married?
No, I'm not.
If you marry, will you force your wife to take your surname? Will it be mandatory in your household that she can?
Yes, of course.
Personally, I believe that when you marry, you shouldn't throw away your surname.
Okay.
I believe you can add your husband's surname to yours, but I am not for those who will marry and they would have to do away with their surnames. For that, I don't.
But
maybe you can add on to it. Should you decide, just so we would know that we have Mr. and Mrs. So and so. Okay. But I don't think it should be by force.
You know, President Nana Dankwa has made marriage very appetizing. So by changing names, you recall anytime you say my beautiful Rebecca. So when you marry.